the DeKalb County Better Business Loan Program webinar. Today we have a full agenda, and you'll be hearing from our leadership at the county level, from our banking partner from Citizens Trust Bank. We will then have a presentation for each of the areas of the program, and then at the end we will have a Q&A. We will ask you to jot your questions down, or you can refer to the FAQ sheet that's on the website. But we will be using the Q&A feature on the Zoom app at the end of the presentation. So as we move throughout, just want to ask you to think about the questions that you want to ask as it relates maybe to a broader business issue or your specific business issues questions. We'll be glad to take on during the technical support part of the program. So without further ado, I'll turn it over to our CEO, Michael Thurmond.
Thank you and good morning, and welcome once again to this very exciting milestone in DeKalb County's ongoing effort to respond to the health and economic crisis that is buffeting the American and really the world economy. First, I'd like to thank Ms. Crowell for her leadership in this effort, but there are so many people who worked hard to bring this important resource to our business owners, and particularly our business owners here in DeKalb County. You will hear shortly from our presiding officer, Mr. Steve Bradshaw, who chaired a Small Business Subcommittee through our COVID-19 task force, who provided significant input and direction to bring us to this point, but also our county attorney's office, budget, finance. It was a team effort. And first and foremost, I want to thank the courageous men and women who own and operate and manage small businesses in DeKalb County. We appreciate your determination, your perseverance, and I want you to know that you are not facing these challenges alone. The evidence today is, of course, our Better Business Loan Program. But you need to know, and I hope you will appreciate the fact that our governing authority, that's the CEO's office, as well as our Board of Commissioners, are committed in a unanimous way to support you in your ongoing efforts. I also want to thank our private sector partner, the financial institution that will be playing a critical role in this, which is Citizens Trust Bank. You will be hearing from President Day shortly, but I personally want to thank her and her senior team. When we first reached out to her, she was always very attentive and supportive of the effort. And I am just so excited about this partnership with DeKalb, our business owners, and Citizens Trust Bank. The governing authorities allocated $15 million for this program. $10 million will be serviced directly by Citizens Trust Bank. The number one goal is to support DeKalb small business owners. I want to thank the Chamber of Commerce, DeKalb Chamber of Commerce, as well as Decide DeKalb, who will be providing critical technical assistance to help not only through the application process, but more importantly, to help our business owners to become more sustainable and successful going forward. And just this, personally, I understand what it means to go in on Monday, trying to figure out how to get the bills paid by Friday. I want you to know that as your CEO, and I speak for the 750,000 residents of our county, that we support you, we celebrate your effort, and we are committed as a team to weather this storm and to emerge from this pandemic stronger, publicly and privately, stronger than what we were when we first entered into it. So thank you so very much. And of course, we look forward to strengthening and building this partnership through Citizens Trust Bank throughout the remainder of my administration. Ms. Crowell.
Thank you, Mr. CEO. Now we'll hear from our presiding officer of DeKalb County Government, Mr. Commissioner Steve Bradshaw.
Thank you, Dolores. Good morning, everyone. It is an honor to be here today for this important event. On April 29th, 2020, CEO Michael Thurmond charged me with chairing a subcommittee of the COVID-19 Strategic Task Force to explore ways to be of support to DeKalb County's businesses. In the wake of that charge, we put together an excellent committee of people to help in this effort, and we engaged business leaders across a wide range of industry sectors for their input regarding what DeKalb County could do to be of the most support to them. One of the major challenges that emerged was access to capital. In response to this, the signature recommendation of our subcommittee was the establishment of a small business loan fund. And since we made this recommendation to the administration, they have been hard at work putting together the details for executing this program, which I know has not been easy. Today, we see the fruit of all of that hard work, and it is a good thing to bear witness to. I want to thank also Dolores Kroll of the administration for her diligence and professionalism throughout this process. I want to thank Citizens Trust Bank President and CEO Cynthia Day and her entire team for embracing this initiative and partnering with DeKalb County. I want to thank Dorian DeBar of Decide DeKalb and James Tsismana of the DeKalb Chamber for offering the critical technical support of these two agencies in support of this effort. And I obviously want to thank CEO Thurmond for affording me the opportunity to serve in this capacity, but most of all for having the vision and foresight to make support of DeKalb County small businesses a priority for this government. Finally, and most importantly, I want to thank the business owners here in DeKalb County for their resilience and adaptability as they have navigated this unprecedented crisis. I truly admire you, and I wish you nothing but future success. Thanks again for the opportunity to be here today, and I yield back to the host of the meeting.
Thank you, Commissioner Bradshaw. We'd now like to bring up Ms. Cynthia Day, President and CEO of Citizens Trust Bank. Ms. Day.
I'm sending it on mute.
Morning. Good morning, everyone. I don't know if you can see me, my camera's on, but I just want to say thank you.
Ms. Day, go ahead. We can hear you. Unfortunately, we can't see you, but we do hear you.
Okay, good morning. I'd like to say thank you to CEO Thurmond, to the Board of Commissioners, and the DeKalb County team. It is just an absolute pleasure to be here. These are unparalleled times. This is a crisis that's impacting the health and the well-being of our community and our nation, really. This requires definitive leadership and action. And I want to applaud CEO Thurmond, the Board of Commissioners, the DeKalb County team for giving that definitive action. And CTB is proud to be a partner. CTB has been around for over 100 years, and our mission is to be a catalyst to building healthy communities. That means strong and thriving businesses that create jobs, that build strong families, strong schools, and strong health systems. This program closely aligns with that mission. And so we are happy to be a part of this program. We are looking forward to working with each of you, and just God bless you to the county CEO Thurmond for this vision and this support to our community. And we look forward to working with each of the businesses of DeKalb County to keep moving forward and building healthy communities. Thank you for allowing Citizens Trust Bank to partner with you.
Thank you, Ms. Day. And so now ladies and gentlemen, we'll go right into the business portion of the program. The next piece of the program we'll learn about is the program overview. And we're going to ask our Deputy County Attorney, Terry Phillips, to proceed.
Thank you, Ms. Crowell. Mr. Metelsky, if you would, please place the PowerPoint on the screen. Good morning, everyone.
Mr. Phillips, the PowerPoint is showing, it is sharing.
Okay. So the first screen we should see is the federal law. As you may recognize, back in March on the 27th, the president signed an over $2 trillion economic relief package that was passed by the 116th Congress that gave us the CARES Act. The formal name is the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act. That gave us an opportunity to give relief to businesses. It provided a number of relief components, an example being the Paycheck Protection Program, which is commonly referred to as PPP. In this instance, we're working under Section 601B of the CARES Act, the Coronavirus Relief Funds portion of it. A critical component of the federal legislation is the fact that the CARES Act reserved audit rights for the federal government for all recipients. If you could go to the next slide, please. The three fundamental rules for the coronavirus relief funds are they have to be used for funds that are necessary, costs that are necessary expenditures incurred due to the pandemic. They have to cover those things that were not accounted for in the budget that was passed before the March 27th signing by the president. And they were incurred during the period of March 1st, 2020 through December 31st, 2020, and they have to actually be spent by the 30th of December. In that instance, for DeKalb County, what we have is three different categories that say DeKalb can use funds that meet this criteria. There was no budgeted funds for this component, the Better Business Loan Program, prior to March 27th, and the expense will be made between March 1st and December 30th. If we could go to the next slide. In an effort to take advantage of this opportunity and provide relief directly to DeKalb County businesses, DeKalb County received CARES Act funds directly from the federal government. It's important to note that DeKalb is one of very few local governments in Georgia to do so. And the DeKalb Governing Authority passed a resolution allocating $15 million of the CRF funds to finance this DeKalb Better Business Loan Program. The proceeds will go to small businesses in DeKalb County that are experiencing financial hardship as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. The small businesses are defined as those with a gross annual revenue of less than $1 million and having 20 or less employees. That is the primary target for this program. Loans will be provided up to $40,000 based on a set formula for determining the maximum amount, and there'll be a 1% deferred interest for those loans. And the goal will be that you will comply as a small business with all of the terms of the loan so that it can be forgiven, and then you will have no further obligation. Next slide, please. For a loan to be forgiven, it means you don't have to actually pay it back. And there are 4 elements that will help provide a path to your forgiveness. The first is the completion of any technical assistance requirements. As early as the application process, a small business seeking to take advantage of this opportunity may be required to use some technical assistance. As many of you may recognize, the PPP program was in fact cost prohibitive for some people in that the technical requirements were so stringent that many small businesses were not able to take advantage of it. Here, some assistance may be provided to help not only complete the application process, but to make sure that the business is fitting in the program in the right way. The second component is the Better Business Curriculum. That is where businesses receive some of these funds. There may be a training requirement through seminars or classes to make sure the business is not only getting the financial relief, but getting the best practices for the business to help it achieve long-lasting success. The next element will be good faith efforts to achieve bringing back the proper staffing levels. Where a business is unable to bring all of its employees back, this program is designed to give flexibility so that the business could show that they made every effort in good faith to bring that employee back. That can be documented, and that will be recognized as successfully achieving that component of the loan compliance. The fourth area is very critical, and that is how the money will actually be spent. It can be used for payroll costs. It can be used for the interest on mortgage or other business debt. That's the interest only, not the principal. The other two areas are to pay rent or utilities associated with a business rent or the utilities for the space occupied by a business. Next slide, please. With those general categories and the understanding of what the federal basis is and the local law for having this program, the county will work to memorialize the county's program through documentation of all of the proper elements. There are three fundamental areas of documentation that will be required. It will start as early as the application process, where records will be used to show what a business qualifies for in the way of the amount of their loan. Again, up to $40,000. Where good faith efforts are used, there will be documentation to show that the business can certify that those efforts were made. And then finally, when the funds are spent by the business that is the borrower, receipts and other records will be used to show that the funds were indeed used the proper way. The overall issue is the county will be prepared to pass any audits from the federal government by properly memorializing and documenting how the program was administered, and they will make sure that the borrowers provide proper documentation, not only in the application process, but throughout the year. Records, documents, and full transparency will be required throughout the process. Thank you, Mr. Metelsky. Thank you, Ms. Crowell.
And before we turn over the floor to Ms. Crowell, I just wanted to announce that and I apologize, Mr. Phillips and all speakers, it appears that the Zoom system still is having issues and it is impacting video right now. So audio and share does appear to be working. It is a nationwide issue that is currently being worked. With that, I'll turn over the floor to Ms. Crowell.
Thank you, Mr. Metelsky. And to reiterate, the Zoom platform is a national issue, and we do know that we're hearing from folks that are having challenges logging in. Just want you to know that we're working hard as we can on this end, and it is a national issue. Our next presenter will be from Citizens Trust Bank, and we'd ask Mr. Farrand Logan, the Chief Lending Officer from Citizens Trust Bank, to speak to us now. Mr. Logan.
Thank you, Dolores. On behalf of Citizens Trust Bank, we are both prepared and excited to be a lending partner for the DeKalb Better Business Loan Program. I am here to give you just a few points on how to best navigate through the application process. So without further ado, next slide, please. So without further ado, I should tell you that we have an application link on our website that leads you to an electronic application portal that is quick, efficient, and very secure. Now, before you select that link, our website provides instructions on securing at least two important documents, and I list those documents here. One is the loan calculation worksheet, okay? And the other document is the borrower checklist. The borrower checklist is needed to complete the loan calculation worksheet. You cannot complete the loan calculation worksheet unless you have the items listed on the borrower checklist. So it's important to have both of those documents in front of you. There's an opportunity to download those two documents on our website. So once you select the application portal and start the application process, there will be several sections within the portal. The sections are as follows: the business information section, the personal information section, the loan terms and other information, and a documentation upload section. Some of the portal pages include instructions in red printed ink on the top of each page. Please be sure to read those instructions. It will be important because it instructs you on how to complete certain boxes within the application portal. Next slide, please. All right, so once you go onto the Citizens Trust website, which is www.ctbconnect.com, you will come to our landing page for the DeKalb Better Business Loan Program. Once you select the application link, you will come to the application portals. You will have a choice of two. Select the SBA loan portal. CTB is using the SBA loan portal just for the purpose of application submission only. I can tell you that we were very active in the PPP loan program, and we use the SBA loan portal. This program is very similar to the SBA PPP program, and so we decided that for your convenience, the SBA loan portal is the best portal for this particular program. Next slide, please. All right, so I wanted to give you, let you see at least a sample of what the various sections look like. In this particular case, what's on the slide is the business information slide. The one box that I wanted to bring to your attention is highlighted, and that box is the webinar attendance code. In order for Citizens Trust Bank to process your application, you must include that webinar attendance code, and that is a code that you will be given for attending this very webinar that we're presenting right now. Without that code and without the correct code, Citizens Trust Bank would not be able to process your application. Now, in general, the business information page will allow you to put your company name, address, and other basic demographic information about your business. And keep in mind that other sites look very similar to this page. Next slide, please. So I wanted to sort of pull back and give you an idea of what the loan calculation worksheet looks like, okay? Now, this loan calculation worksheet is not a part of the application portal. Remember, this is a spreadsheet that we are asking you to complete prior to going into the application portal, okay? The objective of this worksheet is to arrive at the requested loan amount. That requested loan amount is line E, okay? Line E is not shown on this slide. But trust me, there is a line E that is at the bottom of this worksheet. So this is the example of one of three different worksheets. The three worksheets, by the way, are one is for a self-employed individual, such as a sole proprietor or a single member LLC. The second worksheet is that of a corporation, which would include C corporations, S corporations, and multiple member LLCs. And the third worksheet is that of a general partnership. So for the example of this presentation, I have the worksheet for a sole proprietor. The information that I want you to, the point that I want you to especially know is that you should only fill out the green sections of this worksheet. There's an income section in this case where you input your net income. There's W-2 payroll in the event that you happen to have W-2 employees. If you don't, then just leave that information blank. And then at the bottom, you have the section that includes other business expenses such as business mortgage expense, interest on other business debt, commercial property rent, and commercial property utilities. Once you include the 12 month figures for each of those categories, this spreadsheet will automatically calculate your loan amount. And hold on to this spreadsheet because you will need line item E once you enter the application portal. Next slide, please. All right, so this slide this shows a page on the application loan portal called loan information. On this slide, you will see that the loan amount, this slide is requesting the loan amount. In this case, again, you would input line E in the box where it says loan amount. For long term, you would put 24 months, and then there's a comment section at the bottom for you to make comments as to why you need the proceeds, okay? All of those boxes must be completed in order for your application to be submitted. Next slide, please. The last slide the last section prior to submitting your application is the documentation upload page. The documentation upload page is simply a listing of all of the checklist items. Remember, I told you how important it is to have that borrower checklist in front of you? Well, here's why. This particular page lists all of those checklist items. So how do you know which documents to upload? Well, you have to refer to the checklist. The checklist will provide documents that all of the business will have to upload, and then it will provide documents specific to your business entity type, okay? And if most of these line items, these documents will be uploaded, but if you run into an item that you will not upload, you should select what is circled, which is the box that says not uploading at this time. Once you make that selection, you have to input either NA or not needed in order for your application to be submitted. Next slide, please. All right, and so once your application is fully submitted, CTB will email you within 10 days with the status of your loan request. Incomplete applications, meaning started but not submitted, will remain in the portal in a pending status. If an application is fully submitted but not accurate, borrowers will be allowed to obtain correct information, but keep in mind that the program funds are only reserved for approved applications. So if you got an outstanding item, don't wait. Go ahead and get that information in so that you can get your application approved before the funds run out. Complete and accurate applications will take priority over incomplete applications. Loan closing documents will be sent to you via DocuSign, and those proceeds will be funded to the checking account information that you provided during the application submission process. Next slide, please. And finally, once we have extended this loan to you, you will have 3 months in order to spend the money using it towards those eligible expenses, okay? And once you do that, after 3 months, you will be permitted the opportunity for that loan to be forgiven. And that's when DeKalb County will literally forgive your loan, pay off those loans, assuming that you use the money towards those eligible expenses, okay? I don't want to go into detail about this particular form at this particular time, but I will tell you that at a later date between now and 3 months, we will upload this form on our website and give you more instructions on how to complete this form. That concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Logan. The next part of our program will be reviewing the technical support. And our presenter will be Mr. Dorian DeBar, the interim president of DeKalb County, Decide DeKalb.
Good morning, and thank you, Dolores. Again, my name is Dorian DeBar, and I'm president of Decide DeKalb Development Authority. And before we get into the technical support piece, I'd just like to say thank you to CEO Michael Thurmond, as well as Commissioner Steve Bradshaw, for bringing in Decide DeKalb on this an extremely important initiative for all of DeKalb County, so that we can support our local businesses. And briefly, just for those that may not know, Decide DeKalb serves as the primary economic development force to attract, expand, and retain businesses in DeKalb County. And so through our service to DeKalb County and the Better Business Loan Program, Decide DeKalb will provide technical support and assistance for those businesses interested in this program. Next slide, please. So what does that mean? So in a nutshell, throughout the loan process, a team of experienced professionals here at Decide DeKalb will be available to respond to all your Better Business Loan Program questions. And we think this is extremely important as a lot of individuals gear up to submit their applications to CTV and apply for this all-important loan that we all know it is extremely important. So just a brief overview. We look to assist borrowers throughout the loan origination and forgiveness portion of the program. We will review and discuss required documents needed to complete a successful loan application. We will assist with questions of concern as you go through the process, through the loan application with Citizens Trust Bank. And we look to work hand in hand with Citizens Trust Bank, and we want to make sure we're there for you. And finally, we look to provide technical support to those that may require professional services to prepare their applications, i.e. accounting services or profit and loss statements. And so just to kind of elaborate on that a little bit further, there may be a case where some folks may not have a profit and loss statement, and you may need assistance preparing that, and that will be a portion of the loan program. So we want to make sure we're there for you, and we will connect you with accountants that will definitely walk you through that process and hold your hand if need be. And so again, we want to make sure you are put in a great position to apply for this program, and we want to make sure we're answering the questions that you may have so you feel confident in moving forward. So with that, our contact information is below. We are available Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Our phone number is below, as well as our email address. And again, do not hesitate to reach out to us. We have fielded quite a few questions already, and we are definitely here to support. So with that, thank you, Dolores.
Thank you, Dorian. Next in the presentation, we'll hear about the Better Business Curriculum. And your presenter will be James Tsismana, the board chair of the DeKalb County Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you, Dolores. I also would like to thank the CEO and Commissioner Bradshaw for bringing in the chamber for this great opportunity to better serve the county. And the chamber strives to be the convener of a partnership and facilitator of any type of business solutions. We have a great partnership with the Better Business Loan Program to provide the chamber with a new opportunity to support the local businesses of DeKalb County. And we want to do a continuing education and training program designed to strengthen those local businesses. Next slide, please. The DeKalb Chamber has collaborated with Georgia Piedmont Technical College to develop a series of focused training classes that is really designed to give the businesses the opportunity, the knowledge to have a sustainable program when this course is completed. These are required for the loan forgiveness part of the program. 3 of the 4 programs are going to be required. The registration for the classes will be handled once the loan organization has been approved by the bank. Georgia Piedmont Technical College will give them access to all coursework materials by their email. The borrower must have a valid email address, has to have computer access, and a computer, of course. The program will be delivered, the learning modules will be delivered through Georgia Piedmont Technical College Blackboard Learning Management System. The nice thing about the program, it will be self-paced, online, and it's convenient for you to get on 7 days a week, 24 hours a day at your convenience. Next slide, please. As I said, you have to complete 3 classes for the loan forgiveness. One class is developing a business plan, which is a 4-hour class. The second one is gaining financial controls in place, very important for running a business. That's a 4-hour class. And the final required class is making ethical decisions, which is another 4-hour class. You complete those 3 classes, your name would actually be submitted back to the bank saying you've completed those programs for forgiveness. There is an optional class that you can take, which is communications. It's a module that really helps you form communications, tools, resources, and equipment. This is optional, but next slide, please. what you get from each of these classes is you'll receive continuing education credits from each of the courses. You receive a certificate of completion. But a key area for the optional course is if you take that 4th additional class, you actually receive credentials from Georgia Piedmont Technical College. So the 3 required classes, 1 additional class gives you credentials. And there's an added bonus that the county has thrown in here. There's soft skills training that Georgia Piedmont Technical College will provide to all full-time and part-time staff. There are 10 different programs you can take online, and you can get something like business etiquette, time management, which is always an important skill. So these are the different programs that are here designed to help give you sustainability and help you with your business program. Thank you.
Thank you, James. That concludes the loan portion presentation of our segment of our presentation. We are going to go and start responding to your questions, but I wanted to emphasize just a few things regarding the presentation you just seen. As applicants apply for the loan, there's 3 critical touch points. Obviously, Citizens Trust Bank. The second would be Decide DeKalb, and the third would be the DeKalb Chamber. What we want applicants to know is that as you apply through the loan process, obviously the bank will be supportive in answering those questions specific to your business as it relates to your application. But for those applicants who have additional questions that are outside of what the bank can actually provide, those applicants would be calling back to Decide DeKalb, and that's on the technical support slide, the email address and telephone number. And then for your loan forgiveness piece, that is what the Chamber of Commerce will be managing. But just wanted to emphasize those points as you navigate through the loan process to make sure that you have all the technical support that you need. So with that being said, we're going to tee up the first question, and I'm going to ask our presenters to respond. The first question is from Lamar Cody, and the question is, can landlords who have rental properties have their property taxes paid for by this loan?
Ms. Crowell, shall I take that one? This is Terry Phillips.
Yes, please.
The answer is no. The funds will not be used to pay the property taxes for landlords. The things the funds can be used for include payroll costs, interest on the mortgage or other business debt, that is the mortgage where a property is housed, rent where a business is located, that's the mortgage where a business occupies the property, rent where a business occupies the property, and then the utilities for that property as well.
Thank you, Mr. Phillips. Our next question is from Ms. Tess Snipes. And the question is, are you eligible if you have received a SBA EIDL loan, which does not appear to be forgivable? I believe that question would be either to Mr. Phillips or Mr. Logan.
I'll start. This is Terry Phillips again, and then defer to Mr. Logan. There are primary targets and additional targets for this, and the goal was to not exclude businesses that have participated in other programs, but to target first and foremost those businesses that have not been able to take advantage of other programs. With that, I'll defer to Mr. Logan.
Terry, yeah, I agree with that statement. Totally.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Phillips and Logan. Our next question is from David Hauser, and the question is, will a copy of the PowerPoint deck be provided for future reference? Yes, we will load the PowerPoint presentation on the county website. The next question is from Kelly Pollard. How long will a business owner have to complete the curriculum portion of the loan program once accepted?
Hey, Dolores, I'll take this. James Tsismana. In the very beginning, once the loan has been approved, you will gain access to the classes. And again, you can take them anytime you want, but you must have them all completed by the end of the loan program, which would be December 30th, because we will then send all completed applicants back to the bank for the loan forgiveness portion.
Thank you, James. The next question is from Craig Smith. Would you be so kind as to furnish the path to get to the application? I'm on the website. The application for the loan will not be live until August 27th. Part of our thinking behind this was to get people teed up with as much information as you could, gathering your data so that at the point that you're ready to apply, you have most of the required information. So the link on the county website is giving you access to the application itself, will not be live until August 27th. The next question is from Juan Casareto. I am in Citizens Truck Bank webpage and can't find the place to apply for the loan. Juan, the same would apply there. The application for the loan will not be live until August 27th. The next question is from Ballister Wilson. One of the line items listed rent expenses as an approved expense. What about mortgage payments on owned property? Mr. Phillips or Mr. Logan, can you take that one?
I'll take that one. As stated earlier, the interest on the mortgage is an allowable expense where the business occupies that property, but not the principal.
Thank you, Mr. Phillips. The next question is from Faith Cohen. Are the soft skill classes just for DeKalb employees or for anyone applying for the loan? The soft skill classes are for those approved applicants for the loan. The next question.
Yes.
Go ahead, James.
I think you answered it.
Okay. The next question is from Carissa Deadweiler. In 2019, my business incurred a net loss. Do I still qualify?
Dolores, this is Farrand Logan. I'll take that question. The beauty of this particular program, unlike the federal PPP program, is that we look at essentially cash flow, not just net income. So oftentimes businesses will show a net loss, but then may have a positive cash flow. If you add back, for example, depreciation, which is a non-cash expense on your income statement. If you were to add back depreciation and amortization, oftentimes that will create a positive cash flow number. In addition to that, okay, you can also add back, for the purposes of qualifying for this loan, any eligible expenses, such as you know, what Terry mentioned, the interest on the debt, the interest on the property debt, the commercial utilities, and any and the rent associated with the property that you occupy. By the time you finish qualifying based on those amounts, sometimes you can take a situation where you have a net loss and turn it into an opportunity to receive that loan. So the short answer is yes.
Thank you, Mr. Logan. We do notice we have two attendees who have their hands raised. We'd ask that you ask your questions through the Q&A functionality on the Zoom website, on your Zoom link. Our next question is, will this webinar be available again for those unable to attend this morning? The answer is yes. This webinar is being recorded, and you will be able to, for those who want to review the information again, as well as those who were not able to attend. The next question is from Faith Cohen. Also, where do we begin taking the classes? Will there be a URL sent out? James, can you answer that?
Yes, as soon as the loan's been approved, the DeKalb Chamber will send your name to Georgia Piedmont Technical College, and they in turn will send an email to you. You have to then follow up with the school to register, and then you can begin the classes online. So you don't have to do anything now. Once you're approved, you will receive an email, and then you start the process with GPTC.
Thank you, James. The next question from Jerry Myers. Is there an initial soft credit pull to apply for the loan, or is it a hard pull? Mr. Logan?
All right, the answer is no, there's no credit pool for this particular program.
Thank you, Mr. Logan. Next question, Michelle Long. When does the application process open, and how do we get our code for today's webinar? The code for today's webinar will be issued at the end of the program, and the application process begins on August 27th. The next question is from Corday Farrar. The question is, how many participants were able to attend this morning? Today, we have 246 people attending this call. The next question from Jeanette Pollock. Are religious organizations, for example, churches that hold a 501c3, I'm assuming the rest of your question is, are they eligible to apply?
Dolores, this is Farrand Logan. I'll take that question. The answer is yes. Nonprofit 501c3 corporations are eligible.
Thank you. The next question is, our sales are over from Mason Calloway. Our sales are over $1 million, but our income is under $1 million. Would we qualify?
Dolores, this is Farrand Logan again. I'll take that question. The program parameters stipulate that the revenues for any eligible company must be under 1 million. So anyone with revenues above 1 million would not be eligible for the program.
Thank you. Next question from Shatrice Jenkins. Paying back and current rent. Would this be paying it for future as well, i.e. November, December?
Dolores, Farrand Logan again. I'll take that question. Yes, the purpose of the program is to allow businesses to pay for the next 3 months from the time that we make the loan, make payments towards those eligible expenses, which would include rent, business mortgage, commercial utilities, and commercial rent. And payroll, and payroll.
Thank you.
And if I can add, Ms. Crowell, this is Terry Phillips. And on the mortgage, it will again just be the interest on the mortgage, not the principal.
Good point, Mr. Phillips. The next question from Pamela James. Is personal credit taken into consideration in the approval process?
I'll take that one. The answer is no.
Thank you. Next is from Patricia White. I'm a home-based solo business. Am I eligible?
I'll take it. This is Terry Phillips. Yes, being a home-based business does not disqualify you. You still may be eligible.
Thank you, Mr. Phillips. Next question. I live in Lithonia and my business is in Conyers. Will I still be eligible?
No, the business must be located in DeKalb. It is not contingent on the location of the business owner's residence. It is an issue of the business being located in DeKalb County.
Thank you. Next question is from Heidi Lyon. Will 1099 employees be considered in the payroll forgiveness portion? I have several contractors that have been out of work because of our lack of work.
Yes. 1099 employees are eligible for the program. And essentially the way that will work is that the We will look to your profit and loss statement. Typically, the 1099 income is the revenue portion of a profit and loss statement for a self-employed 1099 recipient. And essentially, we will look to the net income divided by 12 times 3, plus any of those eligible expenses such as payroll or those other non-payroll eligible expenses. Yeah. And so the answer is yes.
Thank you. Just a reminder that this webinar is being recorded, so it will be available after this call for those who have already participated and anyone who is not able to attend. Next question is, are sole proprietors with no LLC eligible?
Yes, the answer is yes. You do not have to be set up as an LLC in order to be eligible. You can be an individual with a social security number that's operating a business, okay, with a DBA, for example, and you are eligible for this program.
Okay, thank you. Just a friendly reminder, we're about 5 minutes away from concluding the presentation. We still have lots of questions to get to. We'll get to as many as we can. Next one is, if you have, from Suzanne Huff, if you have already received a loan through the PPP program, can you apply for this forgivable loan as well?
I'll take that one. I'm Terry Phillips. You are eligible and may qualify, but you are a part of the additional targets. The primary targets will be those businesses that did not receive PPP, but you will not be disqualified because you did.
Okay, thank you. Next question from Dwayne Howe. Can the funds be used for payroll and rehiring? I think they mean staff.
Yeah, I'll take that one, Dolores. This is Farrand Logan. The answer is yes.
Okay, the next question is from Cordai Farrar. What are some examples of the sole proprietorship expenses that would be eligible, i.e. payment to owner?
I can take that one as well, Dolores. For all businesses, the eligible expenses are the same. Again, you can make payments. You'll be given money for payments towards mortgage interest for the property that you occupy. You will be given proceeds 3 months, in fact, for interest towards other business debt. You will be allowed to spend those proceeds on commercial property rent, for example. And then finally, all payroll expenses would be eligible. Again, payroll would include W-2 plus any benefits that you pay on behalf of those employees. Again, you cannot include the actual benefits that the employee pays, but the benefits that you, the company, pays on their behalf, you can include. And then any state unemployment taxes would be eligible for this particular program.
Thank you, Mr. Logan. We have one more question, and then we're going to conclude our program and give you some parting instructions. Again, the application process will not be open on the portal, on the CTV portal, until August 27th. Our last question we have here is, how long do I have, to repay the loan if I don't qualify for forgiveness?
I can take that one as well. The program is set up for a fully amortized loan of 24 months. The first 3 months of the loan would be deferred, so you would not have payments for the first 3 months. And if there's any loan remaining after the first 3 months, that remaining balance will be paid over the remaining life of the loan, which would be 21 remaining months.
Thank you, Mr. Logan. So that is the last question for today's session. Just wanted to give you a few reminders. One is that this entire presentation will be posted on the website for future reference. This webinar will be recorded. And so anyone who tried to get in today or were not able to get in will have access to it. Again, we appreciate your participation. And before we close and we provide with you the webinar code, we want to hear some parting thoughts from our CEO.
Well, thank you so much, Ms. Kroll. And once again, to those who participated in this webinar, we are so excited for your interest and we look forward to working with you. Again, I would like to thank the leadership of Presiding Officer Steve Bradshaw, the support of our Board of Commissioners, the outstanding leadership and work of Ms. Cynthia Day, President, CEO of Citizens Trust Bank, as well as our chamber and Decide DeKalb. So thank you so much for your participation today. We look forward to building the partnership that we have in place and to create a strategy or initiative that I believe will be a national model that has been birthed and developed and brought to fruition here in DeKalb County. So thank you so much for your time and be safe.
Thank you, Mr. CEO. John, would you now display the webinar code for our participants?
Absolutely, there it is. And we do have a couple people on the phone and you obviously can't see it. So for those of you on the phone, the webinar code you will need when you go to fill in your application is the 6-digit code, and that is 640105. Once again, 640105.
Thank you and have a great day.